My name is Erin Helleur and I'm one of the counsellors with the Western Sydney Uni Counselling Service. To put it very simply, public speaking anxiety is just when the nerves you feel when you go to give a talk or speak in front of a group start to get in the way of being able to deliver the kind of talk that you want to give. And it is extremely common. Most people will experience some form of nerves when they're going to deliver a talk or a presentation. I think it was Mark Twain who once said that there are two kinds of speakers. There are those who are nervous and there are liars. So pretty much everyone will experience some level of anxiety when they're giving a talk or a presentation. So keeping your anxiety levels in a level where you can still give the kind of talk that you want to talk is all about just managing that anxiety and doing some things that help to bring down the physiological responses that your body goes through. So you might notice that when you're giving a talk, kind of your heart rate will go up a little bit, your breathing will start to increase, people will feel kind of sweaty palms or they might blush a little bit, but all of those are really normal responses and normal things that your body is going to do when you're feeling a little bit anxious. So to help keep that under control, it's all about managing your breathing. Slowing down your breathing is one of the first things that you can do to let your body know, it's okay, I'm safe, I don't need a life or death response for this situation. So one of the easy things that I like to do is just to breathe in as I count to 5, hold that breath for another 5 counts and breathe out for another 5 counts. And that really helps to just calm your body down. There are some really good apps that you can use to help with that. There's an app called Reach Out Breathe, and it's something that you can actually watch and follow along with to help you slow down your breathing and measure your heart rate a little bit. Of course, those are a little bit harder to do while you're in the middle of a presentation, but slowing down your breathing is a really good strategy for while you're giving a presentation. Other things that people like to do might be using some visualisation techniques. So before you give your presentation, you might want to just imagine yourself giving that presentation, being confident, delivering it well without any nerves, and that can help settle your nerves a little bit beforehand as well. Exercise is another strategy that people can use to help manage their nerves. Before you give a talk, if you notice that you're starting to feel really keyed up and really anxious, go for a bit of a walk, do anything just to help bring that anxiety down. Because what your body is doing is producing a lot of stress hormones, and so by doing a little bit of exercise before a talk, you're actually just helping your body do what it's supposed to do and use up some of those stress hormones. One of the best things you can do in getting ready for a talk is just to practice. Practice a lot, practice in front of people. Record yourself. Nowadays we've all got access to a smartphone or an iPad, some way to record yourself, and it might feel a bit clunky and awkward to do that, but it is a really great way of just practicing your speech, seeing how it sounds, seeing what your gestures look like, and then that way, once you've seen it, you can tweak the things that you want to tweak. Also, the more you practice, the more comfortable you become with your content, and as much as possible, it's really good to memorise as much of that as you can. But if you don't have a lot of time and you can't really memorise your talk and you need to rely on some notes, then it's really important to make sure that you look up and make eye contact with people around the room as much as you can. If you feel really nervous about that, try and find kind of 5 or 6 friendly faces in the room, make eye contact with them, and just imagine that there's some old friends that you haven't seen in a while that you want to catch up with and just bring up to date on your material and the work that you're doing. How you use your body language when you're giving a presentation is also really important. Lots of people, when they're feeling nervous, will often shift their weight from foot to foot, and that can be a bit distracting and make you seem less confident. So as much as you can, if you struggle with that kind of fidgeting and shifting your weight between your legs, just plant your lower body and concentrate on using your hands and very natural kind of gestures. Use head sweeps to look at each different part of the audience and make sure that you're engaging with everyone and help them feel like you're a part of that they're a part of your presentation. When you're giving a talk, you want it to seem very natural and conversational, but the way you talk when you're giving a speech is a little bit different to how it is when you have a conversation with someone. So that's another reason why practice is so important, because you have a chance to practice your presentation voice and how that might be a little bit different. You've also got to practice your volume, the level that you're going to talk at, because you've got to find that sweet spot between the back person, the person in the back row being able to hear what you're saying, but the person in the front row doesn't want to feel like you're screaming at them. Visual aids can be a really important part of making a dynamic presentation, but there are some general rules that you need to follow when you're designing your PowerPoint slides. And you want to keep them simple. Don't make them overcomplicated, and definitely don't write your whole presentation on the slides. An audience can read a lot faster than you can speak. And so your audience is just going to get bored if all they're doing is reading what you've already said. Try not to use too many animations or dramatic slide transitions. Those can just be distracting and really take away from your talk. All of this stuff applies to small groups as well. And I think how you use your body language is really important, and that's that's 90% of your communication, is the way that you use your body. And so even though you might not feel like it, even in a meeting, if you can use very open gestures rather than kind of closing your body up or crossing your legs or things like that, just using that very open body language helps other people interpret you as being much more confident and comfortable in how you're speaking to the group. If this is something that you're really struggling with and you feel like it's getting in the way of your performance, you can absolutely come and have a consultation with one of our counsellors. It's something that we're really experienced in, and we talk about with a lot of students, because anxiety is such a common experience amongst students. So if that's something that you feel like you need a little bit of help with, definitely come along and have a chat with one of our counsellors. You can choose to go to see someone on the campus where you work, or you can choose to see one of our counsellors on any campus which is convenient for you. We can also do telephone consultations too, if that's easier for you. I think the main things to keep in mind when you're giving a talk is to just keep it in perspective. Giving a public speech is not a life or death matter, and so it'll be over a lot sooner sooner than you think. Practice, really important. The more comfortable you are with your material, the better you know it, the more confident you'll be in giving your talk. And use those techniques like slowing down your breathing, make sure you're getting in some regular relaxation, do a bit of exercise. All of those things will help you to manage your anxiety when you go to give a talk.